Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and buona giornata to His Excellency Cristiano Majipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, Dr. Rosia Omar, President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, honorable speakers and partners, Engineer Dr. Azman Senin, Dean, UniKL Malaysia, Italy Design Institute, representatives from the Embassy of Italy to Malaysia, top management members, staff, and students of University Kuala Lumpur. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Italian Design Day 2021. On behalf of the organizer, we would like to thank His Excellency Cristiano Majipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, and all esteemed guests for joining us today. Benvenuti all'Italian Design Day 2021. So how's everyone? I hope you are holding up okay wherever you are and stay safe. First and foremost, I would like to remind those joining via MS Teams to kindly ensure their camera is off and their microphone is muted during the program. If you have any questions for our guests, please use the meeting chat or the Facebook live chat and we will assist you from there. Kindly state your name, organization, institution, or campus you are from together with your question. Please make sure the question is related to today's session. Thank you. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, signore e signori, the Italian government has designated the 8th of July as Italian Design Day 2021. Italian embassies, consulates, and trade commissions around the world are taking part by holding events in presence or online to recognize the uniqueness and contribution of Italian design. The Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs, Luigi Di Maio, has strategically chosen design as a way to highlight the Italian lifestyle and Italy's contribution to the world. The Italian way is not only art and taste, but also industrial know-how that delivers reliable and beautiful products earmarked. Adding that, Italian companies generate 1/3 of global sales in the design sector. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we start, let's watch the video preview on ADi Design Museum.
Benvenuti all'ADi Design Museum con Passo d'Oro, museo inaugurato il 25 maggio scorso, un museo che mostra il design come non l'avrete mai visto, dedicato certamente agli esperti di settore, ma soprattutto al grande pubblico che potrà trovare tante questioni, tante domande e speriamo anche qualche risposta. Buon Italian Design Day a tutti!
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, to begin the session today, we are pleased to have Dr. Rosia Omar, President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, to deliver her welcoming address. Please welcome.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good afternoon. His Excellency Cristiano Majipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, honorable speakers and partners, Engineer Dr. Azman Senin, Dean, UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, representative from the Embassy of Italy to Malaysia, top management members, academics, and students of UniKL, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, on behalf of University Kuala Lumpur, UniKL, I would like to place on record my highest appreciation to His Excellency Cristiano Magapinto, Ambassador of Italy, for being with us today. Your Excellency, for your information, I have just recently assumed office as the President of UniKL, and in fact, today's event, Italian Design Day 2021, is my first official event. It is indeed a great honor to have Your Excellency joining us and gracing the occasion. I look forward for more collaborative events in the coming years between UniKL and Italy. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to note that this event has been organized annually since 2018 by the Embassy of Italy and UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute. This year, with the theme Project and Matter, New Challenges for Sustainable Restart of Made in Italy, is indeed another showcase of how important and significant are these collaborative efforts and the strong support UniKL has received from the Embassy and Your Excellency. My appreciation also goes to the Italian trade agencies and Italy-Malaysia Business Association, who are also part of the organizing partners for today's event. Thank you for the support given. Today, we are going to have a keynote address by Prof. Silvia D'Ambrosio from Politecnico di Milano, as well as guest speakers that will indeed give new insights of the design world and sustainability of the future. Thank you also to the other speakers. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of background of UniKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, launched only on 21st of March 2019, is a very young institute indeed, and it reaffirms the cooperation between Malaysia and Italy, especially in the field of human capital development, transfer of design technology, and creative design industry. Indeed, currently, MIDI has been active working together with several of your finest universities in Italy. I was informed that right now MIDI is working closely with Politecnico di Milano, Politecnico di Torino, and Università Bologna. Indeed, these strong partnerships will further bring greater heights to our academic quality, reputation, and stronger bond between our two countries. Besides this collaboration with academia and universities, UniKL, including MIDI, sees industries as important partners in ensuring students will be relevant to their future job needs, as well as to the growth of our nation. For instance, I'm glad to hear that for 2019, for instance, MIDI has achieved 100% graduate employability. This is indeed a great achievement for a very young institute. Currently, UniKL MIDI is working with an Italian company, Intwin, and I hope to seek and foster more collaboration with many more Italian companies globally. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the future will indeed be a future where we shall witness more joint efforts and stronger relationships between UniKL and Italy. New initiatives involving academic mobility, student internship, summer programs, and more and stronger relationship in the areas of teaching and learning and research and commercialization. And of course, network is so important in achieving all these aspirations. I'm informed that UniKL MIDI is a gold member of IMBA and a member of EuroChamp. I am a strong believer of networks, including building global networks. I promise you, under my leadership, I shall always give full support to UniKL to foster stronger networks locally, regionally, and globally. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, to end my speech, I thank you to all, especially my deepest gratitude to Your Excellency and the Italian Embassy and the Italian Trade Agency for the support given. To the speakers, I look forward to a day filled with interesting knowledge and new ideas. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking time. Last but not least, thank you to Dr. Azman, the Dean, and his wonderful staff for all the efforts that have been done. You have done a great job. Tahniah, congratulations. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato' Dr. Rozia, for the welcoming address. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it gives us great pleasure to cordially invite per noi un grande piacere invitare His Excellency Cristiano Magipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, to deliver his speech. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dato' Dr. Rozia Omar, President and CEO of University Kuala Lumpur, honorable speakers and partners, Dr. Azman Senin, Dean of the UNIKL Malaysia Italy Design Institute, Deputy Presidents, management members, staff, students of University Kuala Lumpur, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First of all, I apologize for the fact of having arrived a little bit late, but as you know, I have another webinar which is going on at the same time on another platform about a European Union matter that I have to attend. But I'm very happy to be with you for this 5th edition of the Italian Design Day. We are already at the 5th edition. The first one was in 2017. And as usual, it is celebrated all over the world at the same time, more or less, maybe one day before, one day later, but this is the moment of the Italian Design Day. I'm happy, first of all, to welcome, even though only virtually, we hope that we will have the possibility to welcome them also physically, not so long future Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, who is the official design ambassador for Malaysia, as well as Professor Luca Fois, that you all know very well. He's a friend of design in Malaysia, and he has covered before the role of design ambassador. At the same time, I would like to thank University Kuala Lumpur and especially the Malaysia Italy Design Institute for the continuous support and cooperation that they have always given to us, not only, but I want to thank them for the fact of being always proactive towards us, in the sense that they don't limit themselves to cooperate, but they have also a lot of proposals to that they make us, and normally we are happy to have these proposals that can really extend the scope of our collaboration. And I have to say that to this afternoon, I am especially honored to congratulate Dr. Rozia Omar on her appointment as President and CEO of University Kuala Lumpur. She is the 4th president of the university. She is also the first woman, if I'm not wrong, to be president of the university. So we are very happy also because of this. I know also that this is one of your first events as president and CEO of the university. So we are very happy that we are giving you this opportunity. It's, I think, a good omen both for us, for the Italian embassy, for the University KL, for the Design Institute, and I think we could not have started our cooperation in a better way. I know that our already long established cooperation will keep growing and be mutually beneficial for many years to to come. Thanks also to your leadership that I'm sure will bring UNIKL to new level of excellence. And now let's come to the topic of the Design Day this year, which is Project and Matter, new challenges for the sustainable restart of the MIID in Italy, in which, of course, the two key expressions, I would say, are, or three probably, the three key words are restart, made in Italy, and sustainable. Made in Italy, I don't have to explain to you what made in Italy is. I take for granted that all of us know that Made in Italy is one of the most renowned brands in the world. We are talking about restart also, because of course we all need to restart after the pandemic and in the course still of the pandemic, because it's not that the pandemic is finished in Italy or in Europe or in Malaysia. We have all to deal with it, but we have at the same time to plan the recover and the restart of all our activities. And we have to do it in a sustainable way. And this is very important from our point of view, because it is this 2021 is a crucial year from the point of view of the environment, for the defense of the environment, the fight against climate change, and the promotion of an authentically sustainable development. Because as you know, in November in Glasgow, there will be the meeting of the COP26, which is the climate conference. And this year, the climate conference is co-chaired by the United Kingdom and by Italy. And two of the events will be held in Italy between September and October 2021 in Milan, as a matter of fact. The Youth for Climate event and the pre-COP. The pre-COP is a meeting at the government level. The Youth for Climate event is a meeting of youth, young representatives of each country, in which they will discuss and we will discuss also with the government representatives what young think that is the best way to guarantee a sustainable development. So this conference, I would say, really marks a critical point in the fight against climate change. And design, from this point of view, can play a very important role. We need to make everyday objects more durable, easier to repair, easier to reuse, and easier to recycle. All sectors of economy are answering to this call, and of course, the design sector is, I would say, at the forefront of this change and the revolution, because the approach to create products and services should take now into account the environmental, social, and economic impact. And this is essential because this impact, the economical, the social, the environmental impact, is something which is planned, should be planned since the beginning of the production of an object. When that object, it's still at the stage of idea. And of course, the stage of idea means design, because you design an object and you have to design it. We need to design it in a way that becomes sustainable, so that that object is not just disposable We take, you know, something which is in plastic, we throw it away, and it will go in some ocean somewhere to litter and pollute the water and the sea. But we have to do it in a way that it becomes sustainable, it becomes what we say a circular product, so that it replaces the polluting and disposable ones that flood the market. And not only the market, the problem is that they flood the waters, they flood our water supply, as we know very well also in Malaysia today. So we have to design objects in such a way to dramatically reduce their negative impact, and that they favor in this way the development of a real circular economy. And from this point of view, I think that we can give, thanks to our speakers tonight, some good ideas to our young students of the joint Italy-Malaysia Institute of Design at UniKL, how to do this, how to be at the forefront of this sustainability revolution, of this sustainability development. And of course, the speakers of tonight are the more qualified. I have mentioned the two speakers from Italy, but I would like also to express my heartfelt thanks to the other speaker. First of all, to the representative of the Malaysian Institute of Interior Design, IDr Dr. Loke Mun, and IDr Joe WH Chan, as well as also the Professor Khairul Aidil Azlin of the PEREKA Institute, who will share with us this afternoon their insights on how to make sustainable design and how to make design an essential contributor to a more sustainable and circular economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for the inspiring speech. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the next agenda, we would like to cordially invite Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, Ambassador of Design, Politecnico di Milano, to deliver her keynote address entitled The Culture of Sustainability, Daily and Designerly Practices for Greener Communities. Please welcome.
Okay, let me share the screen, please. Hi, everybody. Before to start, I would like to thank all the people that made this credible event possible. I'm very glad, honored, and thankful for being here today, and I hope that my little contribution will be inspiring and insightful for you. Well then, through my speech, I will discuss sustainability from a particular perspective and personal sensitivity about the subject, by following a short investigation aimed at visualizing those necessary and emerging keywords and values. But please, let me introduce myself. I'm Silvia D'Ambrosio, and I consider myself as an enthusiastic designer because I put curiosity and creativity in everything I do. During my educational and professional path, I have had the great opportunity to explore the tools, the approaches, the methodologies related to design culture with a specific focus and practices on service design, design thinking, and systemic design. Since 2 years, I am a research fellow in CILAB, Creative Industries Lab, a research group of the design department in Politecnico di Milano, but also a design group that aims at spreading and fostering strategic design with many different stakeholders. Within CILAB, we encounter and collaborate with the so-called creative and cultural industries, by involving and engaging creative and non-creative individuals, small, medium enterprises, institutions, and organizations at local, national, and international levels. We do so through several actions of research, training, and applied research or consultancy based on design-driven innovation. But let's go back to today's focus, sustainability. To the next slides, I will explore the theme of sustainability from a service design perspective. And thus, I won't talk about processes or technicalities, materials, and so on. Instead, I'll go through a reflection of actions and behaviors that are starting to emerge from the bottom, from real people and common people, by including different generations and cultures. Small and simple daily actions that have the power to change the production chains. So we all know that the rapid spread of the pandemic in the last few years has brought new threats and that have implied several critical consequences. But as many theorists and experts are debating these days, it has also shown an even more growing of social resilience and urban regeneration. Just consider that before 2015, there were 21 million Italians who said they were interested in sustainability. Now there are more than 36 million. Moreover, in this framework are those young people and younger generations that are increasing and, most importantly, raising and spreading a new awareness for environmental, social, and cultural issues that are led by recent movements inspired by, for instance, Greta Thunberg, in taking real actions for redesigning the world in a fair and more sustainable way. Consider that even small, simple, and daily actions are greatly impacting the whole economic system. The youngest is even more willing to pay more responsible products and services that are sustainable and fair. But then, of course, we are all aware that it's a long road ahead of us and lots of stuff still to be unpacked and discovered. In fact, even before the pandemic, societies and cultures from all over the world have started to live the collision of different macro trends, of the so-called neoliberal globalization. One of these trends, the most relevant to each of us, is named Alter Globalism for Sustainability, and it's based on the increasing awareness of social, environmental, and political emergencies. The most important aspect is that this trend takes actions thanks to the active involvement and engagement of individuals, peoples, and groups and organizations that are spreading and fostering and boosting those simple and transformative social innovations at local and global levels. So, in order to get a better understanding of this kind of active and involving participation of people, please let me tell you 3 simple and bottom-up successful stories of 3 Italian realities: a small store, a growing product, and a young influencer. The store is named Naturalmente Sostenibile, is a small physical store placed in Cagliari, in Sardinia, that aims at offering a selection of products and initiatives for a healthier lifestyle. The second, the product Susso, is a beeswax wrap for food packaging that promotes handmade in Italy and, most importantly, a circular economy system. Last but not least, Gigi Alaska is a social profile run by Giorgia from Turin, who spreads eco tips and sensitive topics. All these successful projects and stories have in common one single aspect that is very important and powerful. They are run by people, sensitive individuals who use contemporary tools, whether analogical or digital, to inspire, guide, and support other individuals in demanding a greener and a healthier quality of life. As you may read through the quotes that I'm reporting in the next 3 slides, the small store, the product, and the influencer strongly believe that small daily action can actually have big impacts on the earth. And so also another interesting pattern that emerged from analyzing and following these small or bigger entities is the common value of a widespread generosity. Georgia, for instance, from GD Alaska, is still a college student who simply study, learn, process, and talk about sustainability. But also Naturalmente Sostenibile, the small physical store, breaks the physical dimension of the small store to share online sustainable guidelines and active initiatives. And so those little daily actions are actually starting to impact even the values and the production chains of bigger and bigger entities. Start looking at the new packaging when you find one. Start looking at the differences of materials and those new keywords that are spreading through the marketing actions, more or less honest and transparent sometimes. Just to mention some, reusable, plastic-free, second-hand, cruelty-free are those new values that are at the basis of new production chains that are bottom-up required and that can include a larger variety of generations and cultures. Lots of experts and theorists are debating that the emerging request from people is to reclaim the humanity of products, services, and facilities. People are considered no more as problems, but as active agents for its own solution, and so to be involved and engaged in any kind of creative designerly process. From the local dimension to the national dimension, there is therefore a shift of paradigm based on the everyday social and environmental innovations that are demanding and looking for those basic needs. There is therefore a very clear new trend that is named Back to Basics and is based on all those basic needs: living, working, caring, learning, enjoying, that are fulfilled in communities, in respect of a society, and of course in the rehabilitation of the urban space, digital and of course offline. So in this framework of a shared and a greener economy, also design has a very important role. It has evolved from being a practice aiming at designing things to be one that helps tackle complex problems. And of course, most importantly, the new emerging social challenges, but by forming and shaping new kinds of relationships between people and their surrounding resources. Thus, in conclusion, as we designers, whether from communication field, products or events or services, we must think and design in an even more inclusive, fair and resilient way. Luckily, design culture has a valuable package of past experience and tools and practices coming from, for instance, systemic design, participatory design, relational design, design thinking, and so on, that take place thanks to encounters, both online and offline, and that are based on the involvement of actors, touchpoints, and of course, practical actions. In conclusion, please let me briefly quote 3 very important projects to me. The former, run by colleagues and friends of mine, has inspired me in the last few years. And the last 2 have formed my own persona because simply I was there, I was part of it. So the first one, Universiti, is based on the social inclusion for elderly people, and it uses design to facilitate the different discussions and debates among citizens and neighborhoods, of course, from different generations. Open Care is an European project managed by a Fab Lab and a makerspace in Milan, aimed at putting together people for special needs, designers, makers, thinkers, other professionals from other fields, and still citizens and other institutions such as Municipality of Milan, with the aim to design together real solutions to real daily problems. And last but not least, another past experience of mine is quite linked to Paco Collaborative, a network of young and professional designers aimed at boosting positive change in local associations and not only. So I will end here because it's time, the time is running fast, but I will leave you with a very important quote from Papanek. The only important thing about design is how it relates to people. Thank you so much.
Professor Silvia, you can stop sharing. Thank you, Professor Silvia D'Ambrosio, for the wonderful presentation. Keep the question coming, and please don't forget to mention your name, organization, institution, or campus you are from, together with your question. We shall now continue our session with the presentation by the guest speakers. To start off the session, we would like to invite our first speaker, Professor Luca Fois, Professor, Faculty of Design, Events Design class, Politecnico di Milano, with the title Kids Design and Sustainability, from Creativity to Product Service System Design. Please welcome. Professor Luca, we cannot hear you. Professor, we cannot hear you.
You can see?
Oh yeah,
you can see.
Yes.
Okay. How is full screen? You can see full screen or not?
Yes, perfect.
Is okay?
Yeah, perfecto.
So thank you. I'm Luca Fois, an old man and an old friend of Kuala Lumpur design community, and I am very happy also to see that Silvia D'Ambrosio do a very good presentation about some topics in design. So I am happy that a young design ambassador come after me, because the future is in the young people. And so I'm very happy that they go on in this friendly collaboration about Milano, our Politecnico Design University and network, and the Kuala Lumpur Design Network. With Silvia, we are working for some years about kids and toy design. So this is our topic. So I prepare a personal presentation, completely handmade with a pencil, because I like in this moment to return to some very easy tools and then to connect with technological, because I like the balance between tradition and innovation, old and now, physical and digital, and so is a message also to all how to use different tools. So the first thing that I have to say, and I continue to say in all the world, is that the kids are the present and the future. There are the only things, there are not the things, but there are a living person, but they are the only living person that is in the same time the present and the future. And so it's a very strategic point. For this reason, design for kids, not only toys, but products, service, education, entertainment, playing, everything dedicated to kids, also furniture, also public and private space for children, are very, very strategic. You know that the first 1,000 days are strategic for building our brain. So to well communicate to the kids is really something strategic. For this reason, they are present now, but they represent the future. And so it's very, very important and strategic. For this reason, we are building an international network, because we are convinced that there is a cultural evolution, not revolution, but evolution, to put the children really in the middle of our research, considering as person with personal and right, as the United Nations said in the documents about the kids' rights. This is very important to promote in all the world, because now the world, always the world was one and is complex, and so all the country can collaborate to a new vision. For this reason, our network in kids design is not only related to design toys or some technical and practical jobs and business, but is a cultural movement to create a new approach of this. For this reason, we are very happy also that this year we are collaborating in some workshop with the Kuala University and the students, because we are growing in international network. This is the reason why the kids are the most strategic design in the world. Then, what is design? You see, is culture and method to project. This is the real definition about design. You see, design is culture and method now. Yes, Silvia, si vede la slide? Design is culture and method.
No, we are still looking at the first slide.
So this is the
now. Yes, the second.
The present and the future. Sorry, I see now how to change that. And kids and sustainability are the present future. So is related kids design and the kids education and the kids culture is in the same time the present and the future. There are not two sector different. Sustainability and kids are the two faces of the same problem, because sustainability is also a cultural approach. It's not only a technical approach. It's not only some process and select, but is a cultural approach, because the behavior have to change, and how to change behavior needs so many times. So we have to start from the children, because the output of this work have to be present in a long time. So the output will have an effect in long time. For this reason, we have to start early and to be very connected in this kind of approach. The second is sustainability is a process with many S and many steps to do. Repeat, is not only something that now we can say, I am sustainable. No, this is a fake news. Many companies say, wow, we are sustainable, we are green, we are, no, it's a process. We start from little thing to change, and we have to go always to resolve new problems, new aspects, with technology, with creativity, but also with culture, and also with new behavior of consumer, of daily life. So it's a complex process, cultural and technical. Not only technology, not only process, not only, but also to change our attitude, our behavior, daily behavior. So for this reason, is really a process, not easy, it's difficult, it's complex, it's deep and large. But if all people, we can educate ourselves and to make example also to the other, we can create a movement about this that can help our world to become more sustainable and to create better condition of the world for our kids. This is another problem. Our generation and the generation before us, mostly in the West development, have create many dramatic problems about climate, about natural environment, not only natural environment, but also social environment. Is very interesting also what Silvia said before about the general economy theory and politics, because and how design can help a new direction, new directory in the economy and social management of the world problem. So it's a process, sustainability, not something that you arrive and is a goal. Oh, we are sustainable, we are green. No, this is awareness, is communication, is marketing, but is not a true definition. So design is culture and method to project. This is really the definition about design. Design is not shape, design is not decoration, design is not luxury, design is not wow, it's good, I like it. Design is culture and method to project, and I say to transform vision in real project. I repeat always this definition because in the world there are so many wrong definitions about design. No? So we need all the time to repeat what is design. Design is culture and method to project. And this, what is design? We can understand this also from Silvia, lesson. Design is product. The first picture can be a cube, and then is a service. How to communicate the cube, to deliver the cube, to use the cube. So all the service around the product. And now is born the product service system design. That means to consider each product as a system, not only product, not only service, but a system of product and service. And this is also the point of view, the basic point of view to speak about sustainability in the product, because it's not only material, it's not only energy, it's a global use. The life of the product is really complex and deep and large. So we have to consider it all as a system, and the system connected to other systems. So this is complexity. It's true that I say always in my speech that the world was always complex, but now we know exactly how is the complexity, but we have is really enormous, you know, from atomic dimension and subatomic dimension, quantistic dimension to the universe. It's so difficult, so complex. So a system of a billion of systems connected each other. So this is really complex. But now we can have two things: culture that create also creativity, and the capability to design our process, and the technology with our brain, with our creativity can help us. But remember what I say before, technology can really help us to be simple, to be usable, and not to complicate our lives as many times. So there is also design of technology, design of interface, design of, and Silvia know my daily war against difficult technology, because in my generation it's really difficult to understand many things. But there is also another goal of design, to design a democratic technology, not a selective technology that needs competence and many different other tools to work with. So technology can help with our creativity to be used and transformed by design in design, product, service system. This is very important. And one thing, the product for kids are the most systemic product that I know, because are not play, are not clothes, are not only furniture, but are also learning tools, educational tools, experience tools, because the kids in the first year absorb everything, all the experience go in our brain and build our brain. So all kind of product and services for kids are systematic. Don't have only the functional use or the functional mission, but also educational and experience mission. So it's a system, and we have to consider all the product and service for kids as a system, the most important, complex and strategic system. And this is something very related to sustainability. Creativity plus design is feasible project. I like to say that the feasible projects are important, because we have to start from vision, also for utopia, but then we have to use design to realize some feasible project, and then step by step with experience, with feedback, to grow better project and better project. So it's a process also, this one. And this is very important to know what we have to do with the design professional and culture approach. Sustainability is to study the materials from nature, tree, marble, everything that exists in the reality. The technology, because different technology, different impact in the environment, different. The energy, how many energy? We have also to study. This kind of conference is better and consume less energy than to come in airplane in Kuala Lumpur and to meet physically. But be careful, we are consuming energy. There are so many centers, technological center and the computer that are working for us in this moment that consume energy. So also the virtual situation, the virtual reality consume energy. So this is also a sustainable problem. It's not free, it's not without cost, without energetic cost. So sustainability is also in the digital world, in the digital experience. Then transport is obvious. Transport is a problem. Now there is a big problem in the transport. The materials are going for in the cost of 30, 40, 50, 60% more because there is a problem of transport after the COVID. And this will be a problem in the future. All the price will grow. Some medium price product becomes luxury product because the materials now is very high and the transport is very high. This is a problem also with the commerce between your area and the Europe. I heard yesterday some entrepreneur is very angry with many anxiety because this cost of transport are so growing that create a crisis in the future month will be really a problem. What many Italian companies that produce in China or in your area say now, I have the container stopped in China and I cannot arrive here. So I think to reorganize the production in Italy. So this will change in the future. So sustainability and price is really something very different problem. The use is another sustainable aspect and the life cycle of product. And then in the end, the waste disposal. The waste disposal is a very, very big problem. And we have to take this with design, but not only with design, with political decision, with political rules, and so on. Then we go also, what is innovation? Innovation can be innovation of material, of technology, of use. And it is the innovation of the tradition. What was traditional in the past is innovative now. And what is innovative in the past is tradition now. So it's something that changed. This is a graphic. Material technology use is important that one of the three values is innovative. It's better when they are all innovative. Material innovative, technology innovative, and use innovative. So tradition and innovative is a circle. But sustainable have to be always the innovation of material, of technology, but also of use. The consumer have to learn new use, better use or innovation. This is a question that I am philosopher, so I started from philosophy. News are news, a new product, is very good, but is in a product innovation. But when an innovation changes the social environment in a better environment, this is evolution. I prefer evolution than innovation. I like innovation, but evolution is more important because it is related to all the humanity, all the people. So natural plus social environment, this is the design problem. We have to think always to resolve problems and to have this kind of natural and social environment as our two main environment to study the relation between the two. Not only natural and not only social, but the two ones. In the natural, there are also the animals, the vegetables, the things, the mineral. And in the social are all the people that live in the society. Not only the rich people and not also the privileged people, but all people that needs solution to have a better life. And this is the main goal for design, to create the BPB, that is a new index that I invented in the last month. The best possible balance. This is really the goal of a designer, to create from opposite value the best possible balance. And it's something also in the process. Today we can realize the today best possible balance. Tomorrow we have to another one. So we have to be really innovative and creative. Then adults, why kids is important? Because there is a problem. The adults are buyer and the kids are the user. So the kids designer have to mean the two. We put the kids in the middle, in the center of our research, but then we have to educate the buyer to buy the right object or services for kids or right. So it's a cultural problem also to consider the two stakeholders. First, the kids, and second, also the buyer. Because this is something that don't exist in other markets, in which the user is the same of the buyer. In kids market, we have the two rules, and this is something difficult. Ecological brain and sustainable behaviors. Mr. Goleman is a very important neuroscientist that write that we have different intelligence, different brain attitude. One is to build an ecological brain that create immediately some sustainable behaviors. We have to work about the bias, the bias, our brain, neurological bias, to have automatically some sustainable selection of product or services of behavior. So it's also a cultural, a psychological, a neuroscientific process to have and to build an ecological brain with ecological bias, not only consumer bias, not only, hyper-consumer bias. Learning by playing. This is another thing. Our brain play all the life. My brain are playing. I play also. I was playing also writing this presentation for you that I like to do a special presentation with my hand for you, because this is a play. So my brain play today because it's important. Play is one strategic function of our brain. So playful living, a playful approach is really important to not only for kids, for all. And also when we have a relation with kids, we have a play relation with kids, because play is not something secondary from a serious problem for politics or business, but is come first, because to play is a function of our brain. STEAM is really something that we are interested to develop, because it's all that is related for kids about science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. This in our also design intention and design work, STEAM is something important in all the universities and schools in the world. So it's something that can unify our effort to do something in the play, toys, everything related or services related to this type of science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, to create an autonomous knowledge and experience in our kids and in the parents of the kids. So now is my final information that is important. I am working in Italy for the United Nations Decade of Science for Sustainable Development of the ocean. This is very important. And the ocean is the terms of the from 21 to 2030. And this is really important in all the world. So also in Kuala Lumpur, also in United States, you will have the UNESCO and United Nations office that are working and have many events for this. And I advise the university, mostly dedicated to design for kids and toys, to dedicate about the ocean themes, because it's really related also all the themes to STEAM. So STEAM and ocean can be a field of collaboration, in a world collaboration for 10 years about this kind of sector. Very, very interesting to create new things. So we have to play and design plays, toys, video games, everything about ocean. And go also in holiday in the sea, because it's beautiful go to sea in the holiday. And next time I come in Malaysia, I want to go to the sea, because I see some picture, beautiful sea, beautiful, and I like to go. You have to take me on the sea the next time I will come. So thank you for your time and your attention, and I'm ready for questions if they are. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Luca. You can stop sharing your screen now.
Yes, sir. I try. Where is applicable? Upload. Content. It's okay?
It's okay. Grazie.
Okay. Thank you.
Grazie, Professor Luca Fois, for such an informative presentation. Next, we shall invite our second guest speaker, architect, interior designer, Dr. Loke Mun, Principal DrTanLM Architect, Director ArchiCentre Sdn, Founder and Director DTLM Design Group, with his presentation entitled In the End, the Nature Wins. Please welcome.
Thank you very much for the very kind invitation to share here. Thanks, Professor Silvia and Professor Luca. Incredible thinking in the way you put things together. My slides are up, right? Yeah, you can see it?
Can you put it on full screen?
Yeah, I think you're in control of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Professor Lucas needs to, there's another thing in the background, right?
Is Professor Lucas still sharing?
Yeah, I think he needs to stop sharing.
But I think he did. Oh,
yeah. Professor Luca, you have to click on the cross close to Abbandona, red button.
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, welcome.
Okay, are we set to go, team?
Yeah, we're ready. You're good to go.
Thank you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to share. I'm an architect, a master planner, and also an interior designer. And I operate mainly in the tropical region around Malaysia. I have offices in Vietnam, Cambodia, and Malaysia. I used to give a talk for many years, and it was entitled, the series of talks I was giving was called A Better Tomorrow. This is the first time I've changed the title of my talk, and I've changed it to In the End, Nature Wins. This is a painting by an artist called Beeple, and you see the frog. You know, frog has always been a picture or the animal that shows the environment sensitivity. And in the end, you can see the city is all devastated, and the frog is like king, and he's the size of King Kong. This is from a series of paintings done by this artist called Beeple, and he does one painting a day. So in terms of creativity, if I was to do a painting a day, I'll be super creative. I have to look at things that are happening around me and to really express what I see in the current state of affairs. Next. Okay. Okay, I'm using big headlines. Next, climate calamity. I think we all know, those of us who have been involved in sustainability and green building and trying to save the world, you know that there's a saying that when the temperature rises 3 degrees, then everything will die. Current estimates by United Nations last year was that we have already hit 1.3 degrees. That means we are nearly halfway to 3 degrees. This is the cover of Time magazine last month, and Hong Yi, which is the artist, is actually a Malaysian. She's now very, very well known. She did the cover picture of the Time magazine, and the title is called Climate is Everything. And so in the midst of the pandemic, we have not forgotten that we are trying to come back to the whole issue of climate change. Next. COVID-19, next. This is, well, we are with our Italian friends here today. When the COVID-19 hit us, we only had pictures of what was happening in Wuhan. And it actually scared the pants out of every businessman and every person in the world. But we thought it was in China. Then it hit Italy very badly. And this was the front cover of Time magazine in March or April last year. And I like the words that I need. It says there that we must get it into our heads that our lives have changed. Like I said, when I started, I used to give a talk called A Better Tomorrow, and trying to tell people that we can do better to save the world, to save all the animals. In the end, I've come to the conclusion that nature will win and man will lose. We don't have to try and save the animals. We don't have to try and save the world. The world will save itself, but we will likely die off because of the way we have been living. Next. In 2009, I had the privilege to, I was just finished my time as president of the Institute of Architects, and we came into this urgent time of need where people were asking us, are your buildings green because you are burning so much carbon? And I had the privilege to lead the team. In 2009, we set up the Green Building Index for Malaysia, and I went into green building. A small part of green building at that time was solar energy, starting to look at how energy can contribute to greener buildings and a better environment. Next. This is my house. Because I did the Green Building Index rating 2 for Malaysia, I was quite interested to find out whether you could actually design a totally green building. I'm actually in the house now, and it's almost like a resort. It's a GBI Platinum rated house, and the beginning of last year, in about February, I put a lot more solar panels on the roof. So straight after I put the solar panels on the roof, my house is actually net zero energy now. So as much energy as I use, I actually generate from the sun. Next. Those are the additional solar panels I've put onto my roof. So the roof of my house is actually like a machine. So the design is that it is actually a functional roof. You can actually get up to the roof, and in time to come, I will add even more and more things on it. Batteries, more solar panels, wind turbines, etc. You see the round things on the roof, they are actually 15 wind turbines that actually generates air movement through the house. Next. In spite of the COVID hitting us last year and being in a state of very low productivity, working from home, we managed to finish from a single house. We have actually gone to bigger buildings, and we actually finished this property called The Network, which is a F&B. It's got a supermarket, it's got restaurants, it's a lifestyle sort of complex, and it's actually the world's first solar-powered hybrid F&B hub. And next. And we managed to actually complete it. All the roofs, the roofs of every building on site are covered with solar panels. And it's actually being published quite widely at the moment of designing not just a single building that can be standalone to be energy efficient and net zero, but also to start to look at multiple buildings, to look at systems, as Professor Luca would say, not just a product, but also a system. Next. So when you eat in this place, you can go and order a croissant from a coffee cafe. And let's say it takes you 1 hour to finish your coffee and your croissant. You can actually charge your car. You can park your car outside. You can just connect your car battery to the charger, and immediately from the solar panels, you can charge your cars. So after you come out from finishing your coffee or your croissant, you get into your car and you've got maybe half a battery charged up. Next. Okay, so I've touched on quite a lot of headings, and now I just want to touch on battery. Next. I believe that battery, you know, when Elon Musk developed Tesla, everyone thought it was a car, but actually it's not just the car, it's not the product, it was the system behind the car. And a lot of what the system behind the car links back to something called a battery. The iPad and iPod, that the handphone, Apple handphone that we use today, it only came out in 2010 when we launched Green Building Index, not very long ago, 10 years ago. But today we cannot live without the products. In the early days when we had when you had a handphone, a Nokia or a Motorola, you could actually change the batteries. Today you can't. Today the battery lasts longer than the technology that is in the phone or the smart device. So battery technology has changed tremendously. Next. In 2009, interestingly, they all come back to about the same time as when I was fully involved with developing Green Building Index for Malaysia. The year was 2009. Nissan launched the Leaf, and they never changed the car for almost 10 years. So the difference between the new model that came out in 2017 was that when the first car came out, it could on one full charge of the battery, it could run for 175 kilometers. The new one that came out just 2017, it can handle 320 kilometers per hour. Next. And of course, you know that Tesla and the battery, the system behind the car, on one single charge, the plate can charge 520 miles or 700 kilometers on one single charge. And it's because of the battery. Next. So Elon Musk has developed a Powerball that has 13.5 kilowatt hours. Then he did a car battery for the Tesla. Then he did a power pack. And then he's now into a mega pack. I think by end of this year, he will have installed a mega pack assembly for the whole of San Francisco. And it can power up San Francisco for 6 hours just from solar energy collected in the daytime. It can power up the city for 6 hours. And he's already been given the award. And why batteries are important is because solar energy is only at certain times of the day. And in some countries, it's even shorter and longer. It is how you are able to harness this energy to help you become self-sustainable to an extent. The next step I'm doing for my house, and within the next 2 years, I will definitely be I'm already doing the studies to add batteries to be totally off the grid. I don't have to be reliant on the energy company anymore. Okay, next. Work from home. This is a term that, you know, we knew 3 other alphabets like WTF. When WFH appeared, we thought this was another 3 bad words. For design firms, we all had the technology, but it was very difficult to transition because we like to meet together to talk and to draw things by hand and work on butter paper and do designs that way. But we had no choice. Nature won over us, and all of us ended up working in isolation in our own homes or our own apartments, and WFH came into being. Next. A company that I admire a lot is Airbnb. When it appeared on the horizon, it introduced the shared economy to us. Why do we need to own? Why do we need to possess? Why do we need the object and not, you know, because when you buy an object, you actually contribute to waste. You actually contribute to something that breaks the life cycle analysis. So Chesky is the boss of Airbnb, and he had this to say: I think that people now that they have what they didn't have a year or 2 ago. Many people now have flexibility. They have flexibility where they travel and live and work. And now they are starting to combine all this. I think when people have this, they will not want to give it up. So lives have changed. Next. Our first office building brief. We were approached in a competition to design an office tower in about July of last year, right in the middle of the pandemic. And the client wanted in the brief for us to design an office tower. And I told my staff, I told all my architects, I said, why would I design an office tower? If work from home is coming to pass, I should be shot for designing an office tower for him. So we sat back and we didn't win the competition because we were too far out of the box. They wanted an office building. But we sat back and used this as a study and tried to find out what would the new building look like. Next. And I believe that the new types of buildings has to include the whole village in one. It has to have urban districts in the sky. It's got to be like a machine. It's AI managed self-building. It should be shared ecosystem. It should have a museum. It should have a library. It should have a wellness center. It should have a gym. It should have co-working spaces. It should have co-living spaces. You should do farming on the roof. You should do energy harnessing on the roof. So we went on this crazy idea, and that's why we didn't win. We didn't win the competition, but we actually managed to spend time asking ourselves, why would we design another office tower when it will be obsolete, likely be obsolete when we come back to the new normal? And I sat back and I asked myself, when we are all locked down in our own private spaces, what did you wish you have or you could do? I'm a small art collector, and I used to love, I get away to art galleries and art shows and art launches because I get to break away from the stress. I start to see crazy work that need not have any financial logic to it. And it just makes me feel so nice and at ease. And I come back from those places and I find that I'm so much more creative after that. But when you're locked down in your houses and some people are in their apartments and there are 2 or 3 families in one apartment with 2 or 3 bedrooms, it can drive you crazy, and mental health is already a big issue, especially in Malaysia. So I thought that if we could design a building where you can walk out of your building, though you're locked down, you can go to the paddy field at the top of the vegetable farm on the roof, you can go down to the library, and you can spend time in the museum or an art gallery. So the whole village in one building. Next. So you can see there's a museum there, and there's F&B, and we've got libraries and we've got greenhouses, all of a whole village in one building. Next. Another thing that we did during the whole MCO was we've been producing a lot of houses driven by standard briefs that developers give us, a template saying, do this 3-bedroom house, do this 3-bedroom house, do this 3-bedroom house. And what we did was I became a publisher, and I started to publish books. And I find that when I started to publish books, and this is together with Professor Robert Powell, and he started to sketch how a terrace house, how a linked house should look like, and the ventilation that is required, and why you should design it in section rather than in plan. And we managed to publish 3 books during this pandemic. So that's not bad for a small architectural practice. Next. I'll end with this. I think for many years when I was speaking about a better tomorrow, I had the United Nations population chart, and I showed the chart that the world population will just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. And we will hit something like 10 billion by the year 2050. For the first time, next. When you're at home in lockdown, you read almost every newspaper in the world because you haven't expended all your energy and you can't sleep. And so I use the smart device, which is the greatest tool of conviviality that opens you to every country in the world, including Italy. And by the way, congratulations, you're in the finals of the Euro. I'm an England supporter, so we'll be fighting each other. But for the first time, I saw an article come up saying that population of the world will start to decline. This was a New York Times article, came out about a month and a half ago. And I started to do research after that. I put my office into research mode. And we started to look at countries like Japan, very, very advanced countries. And you find that they have an aging population. And interestingly, our partners here, our co-speakers, Italy, your population is declining at a very rapid rate, and you have an aging population. And not only do you have an aging population, nature through COVID has devastated the aging population. And I'll be very interested to know what the housing patterns of the future will come out to be. Things have changed tremendously. And this article, you might not be able to see the whole screen, but my slides are available. Please get hold of it. There's a reference where you can read it. The first article I ever read that talks about population decline. And I think that it's something quite important for us to take a note of. That's why I changed the whole series of my talks. From now going onwards, next. From now going onwards, I have changed my topics, my title to maybe for the next 5 years. In the end, nature wins. And I'm reminded of a show I used to watch many years ago called Jurassic Park. And the dinosaurs came back, and the guy the guy made an interesting statement that nature will find a way. And for many years, when we were doing sustainability and we thought we were trying to save the world, save the animals and so on. Now I've come to realize that it is most likely that man will die off rather than the animals. And in some way, the animals will come back and nature will win, whereas man will lose. So thank you very much for this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Loke Mun. Keep the questions coming, guys, and don't forget to mention your name, organization, institution, or campus you're from together with your question. His Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, we would like to invite our third speaker, interior designer, Joe WH Chan, Honorary Treasurer, Malaysian Institute of Interior Designers, MIID, Principal, DesignTone, Interior Practice, with the title, My Experience of the Italian Spirit, Malaysian Meets Made in Italy. Please welcome.
All right, so that's me. Basically, we are standing in Carrera, basically let me bring you back to more than 1.5 years ago, where we have been grappled with the global pandemic, and I think most of us now are very tired of of this pandemic, and I would like to talk on something more positive and lighthearted. What you see is basically it's actually 1.5 years ago, right? It's October 2019 when just a few months shy of the global pandemic, me and a small group of architects and designers were invited to Milan by DDN, a medium publishing company based in Italy, in collaboration with publisher Malaysia, for a business-to-business tour. Right, next slide, please. You can see here, we are all having fun. The bottom right-hand side corner is actually the president of Malaysian Institute of Interior Designers. In some of the pictures, you probably see Dr. Tan as well. So we are the few fellows who went to Italy for this B2B trip. Next slide. The aim for the visit was to promote major Italian companies in the industry to Malaysian designers and architects to have first-hand understanding of and see interior-related products. We went to Carrera. We looked at Franchi Umberto Marmi, very big marble quarries. We went to Antonio Lupi, amazing sanitaries, designers' bathrooms, spa fittings, and further we went to Ceramico, innovative sanitary wares. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. We went to CA Design, amazing high technology, fine finishing, bathroom finishing, sanitary again. And we further went to Res Italia, which produces amazing quality doors. And also SCIC, also really big, huge factory that produces very nice and very high quality cabinetry, as well as we went also to Ruggiano, right? A really high-end luxury furniture product producer in Italy. So we were there around about a week or so. So I would like to take this opportunity to shout out to all these great companies for being a marvelous host, and also to show us the real Italian hospitality. Next slide, please. So I think as designers, we are very attuned to Italian products, especially furniture and fittings. They are renowned for their great quality, durability, and craftsmanship and workmanship. There's a lot of global exposure actually, for these brands. And the yearly Milan Furniture Fair is a draw to all designers all over the world. Next slide, please. I'm sure, it's a yearly thing that a lot of designers would visit the Milan Furniture Fair, where it's swarmed by millions or thousands of designers, buyers, suppliers, manufacturers, and it's also a melting pot for creative and passionate people. So most of the time, we get to hear and see products from showrooms and explanation from the sales personnel, but we never get an opportunity to see much of the behind the scene, the production of it, right? So next slide, please. So I was really fascinated when I went to, we were able to see some of the production lines in Antonio Lupi and how they did a lot of research technology, putting into new innovation, new product research, and also exploring new material. Trip, I'm able to place into it, the workers, the staff, and most importantly, we get to meet and hear from the founder and its owners, right, of this established company. So instead of seeing the product from or hearing about it, we see the products in the making. We also see the experience and exploration, the heritage, the culture, the history, the craftsmanship, and the meticulous effort they put in. And also the effort to put in a lot of sustainable material and also low environmental impact. A lot of companies, these companies are telling us, they are moving on to more innovative. So they are actually very strongly supporting sustainable material. They are very strongly advocating the environmental impact, the climate change, right? So what was interesting enough was, I was quite taken aback. Next slide, please. I was quite first hand. Can I have the next slide, please? All these people put in to create, and so much pride they put in to create such, product of such high standard and quality. What I was told during my trip, right? You can see there we are hanging out with the owners. We are hanging out with the senior management or people that has been around with the company for very, very long time. So what was interesting that I gathered from this trip was, a lot of these companies are passed on from generation to generation. So the father to the son or grandfather to the son. And the people working there spending years and years mastering the craft, and those legacy and pride of the owners take on the product, the craftsmanship, and the spirit of things live on, despite going through this test of time, adapting to and attuning to the test of time, also attuning to the advancing of technology and innovative, yet not forgetting the human touch, and now, more than ever, environmental friendly product and business. To me, actually, this is such resilience, and this is the resilience which is what required through these trying times. My title of this talk, or the theme of this talk, is Project and Matters. New challenges for a sustainable restart of MIID in Italy. To me, as far as I'm seeing it, it is in a way, consciously or not, it has evolved and pivoted to a new norm, right? For example, this we are doing, if this were 2019, sitting in a hall, sitting against with the audience. So in our way, intangibly, we have shifted to the new norm. So I will always tell people around me, my staff, right? The new norm today is no longer a new norm. New norm was when the pandemic has happened, which is 1.5 years ago. So now we're actually not in a new norm. It's already the normal. So it's how we calibrate and how we move on, right? Dr. Tan mentioned we must get in, in one of his slides, I saw it, we must get it into our head that our lives have changed. Yes, our life has changed. Definitely we have changed. So it's no longer a new norm. It's just something norm today. Next slide, please. What I'm trying to say is we can look into notion, right, of pivoting to shifting to new normal, adopting mass digital technology at larger scale and faster speed. Looking into communication and the way we do businesses and consumer post-pandemic, expectation is no longer the same. Hence, further including digital communication, remote work. In this way, we can transcend business consolidation and collaboration. where it becomes a global network, right? The platform actually is already readily available. It is now we need to more exploration and dependability, where there will be abundance of opportunities. But actually all these notions are actually happening, and perhaps we need to be more conscious and open to more exploration. In big cities like China, it's almost cashless community, so it's not something new, right? So to me, my opinion is no longer a new norm. Interesting enough, an example that I have was a project that we did just one day. We completed one day before the EMCO lockdown, and how we navigate it through. And of course, after hearing from Dr. Tan, after hearing from Professor Silvia and also Dr. Luca, it resonates so much to me now, my experience in Italy, that actually some of the things that I can really brought into the project that the small project that I did. It's not, of course, I'm not an inventor. I don't invent sustainability product. But what I can do is, as the interior designer, I can advocate the usage of sustainability material in any project that we do, and also our behavior, as what Professor Luca has mentioned. So can I have the next slide, please? So this is a very small project that we did just one day before the lockdown. This is actually a hair salon that we did. So the thought process of this design was very contrasting. It was very contrasting to its predecessor. I mean, the older shop that I did actually 1.5 years before I visited Italy. So when I went to Italy, when I came back, that to me is openness in accepting changes in a way I practice. The whole design and communication process was done via digital platform for this project. And the environmental impact consciousness is also key to this project. So, so this is a little bit different from the predecessor. Can I have the next slide? Can I have the next slide? So this was a predecessor. You know, we use a lot of material which is not recyclable. So if you compare to the latest one, we actually use a lot of materiality and craft as a design generator. We wanted to instill artistry, workmanship and craftsmanship, and consciousness of environmental responsive material, in which I was inspired by the trip that I went to Italy. That's why it's no longer a cookie cutter sort of design from the previous project, which is this one. So next slide, please. So I found this product, right? Nicola, an Italian, an Italian product, and interesting, it's really quite interesting and fulfilling to be explored. And of course, because of my experience, I trusted the Italian product and outcomes. And also I use a lot of stainless steel, which is also environmental friendly, which is also green product. So this company is actually based in Syracuse, Sicily, and produces architecture interior finishes coating premixed nano cement in compressed quartz and sand and marble powders. Some materials and products use of recyclable materials, which with direct involvement in recovery and recycling operations. So we look at the manuals, we look at the sustainability belief and whatnot. So we felt that, okay, we can explore this material in our design. So I explored something more extensive, as you can see here, in terms of surface treatment. Hence, you saw some artificial rock in my earlier slide. All these surfaces, we wanted the unexpected, the undefined outcomes, and it's crafted by hand. So it depends on the tree of the artisan to keep it fluid. Like this. Can I move? Next slide, please. All right. The next slide, please. Yes. So what you see, all these artificial rocks and texture finish, right, are made of these Nicola products, and an Italian innovation, right? A craftsman, but the craftsman and applicator, the people who apply this are actually Malaysian, which is trained in Italy. When they went over to Sicily, they are trained. So they're carrying this product and they're applying, so we can apply it to this product. So what you see is not only the application of made in Italy product. I'm sure there were many instances of technology transfer. Here you have actually transfer of craftsmanship and skills, where the local team, gain to learn from all this artisan, all this applicable from Italy. So can I have the next slide, please? Yes. So you see all these people putting all this together, right? So what is interesting is basically, the idea of what you draw, I read somewhere, or what you make is a very cognitive process. And the outcome of the product is not about the material, it's about what you make out of it. A resultant of design intent, which you see evidently displayed as an outcome. This is also part of made in Italy, in intangible sense of skills, artisanal and craftsmanship, right? So the next slide, please. So I would like to, in this slide, you can see, all these artisans, they actually train in Italy. They went to Italy and then they learn and they come back to do this craft. So quoting further from Johannes Palesma's book, The Thinking Hand, the work of a craftsman implies collaboration with his material. Instead of imposing a preconceived idea of shape, he needs to listen to his material and work with it. So this point is a very evident via my experience in Italy and working with the team that were trained there, right? So during this pandemic, we set out to establish more businesses that complements our design practice. Collaboration and consolidation, we continue working along with our collaborative partners. From within the same industry, we do crossover projects. We have increased focus on sustainability. We place greater consciousness on environmental issues, economic, social sustainability, which has been gaining greater momentum globally and locally, with greater awareness of climate change, right? So since it's quite dormant now, in fact, we are using this opportunity to create more knowledge transfer. So what I gained, even before the pandemic, we saw that in Italy, people are really taking environmental issues really seriously, and they are really quitting in. Everywhere, all the what sustainability and also environmental issues. So coming back to my key point is, when we are grappled with such overwhelming pandemic, sheer grit, survival instinct of both nations continuous innovation, further awareness from these challenges has also been manifested during the pandemic. A project fully designed, developed and built during this pandemic. Based on the pre-COVID B2B principles, I strongly think that we can adapt and adapt it to a virtual setting, shifting to reality to virtual reality. So can I have the next slide, please? So what you see here in this slide is very interesting. There is Paolo, the owner or the editor of DDN with us in Italy, 2019 October. And the next photo is whereby Dr. Tan and all of us was zooming during the lockdown in Italy and also the lockdown in Malaysia. So you see that communication still goes on. And as of last month, we are still collaborating as in our newsletter with Malaysian Institute of Interior Designers. A contributor, as I highlighted in red, is DDN. So business never stops. In short, what I'm trying to say is, if you were to think a little bit more positive, things has evolved, but it's not drastic. It's just that it's this consciousness of us holding back to 2019 is keeping us not moving forward. So I would like to end my little note here. Well, I would say that we have adapted. Everyone has adapted. The spirit of things. Just continue with this spirit of thing. restart, we just need to act a little bit quicker and decisively together. Thank you to all of you for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Joe Chan, for the presentation. We have come to the last presentation for today. And with that, it gives us great pleasure to invite Professor Technologist Dr. Khairul Aidil Azlin Rahman, member of Persatuan Pereka Perindustrian Malaysia, PEREKA, to share his views in a presentation entitled Sustainability, Who Cares? Please welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, No. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening to everybody, especially to your Excellency Cristiano Magi Pinto, yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Rozia Omar, the President and CEO of UniKL, yang berbahagia Engineer Dr. Azman Sdn, Dean of the MIDI, especially distinguished speakers, Professor Silvia, Prof. Luca, Architect Interior Designer Dr. Tan, Loke Mun, and Interior Designer Joe Chan, students of UniKL, and ladies and gentlemen. My name is Khairul Aidil Azlin. I have a very long name. It's typical Malaysian name. You have a very long name. I'm from PEREKA, a former president, and also I'm working with UPM, Universiti Putra Malaysia, in the Department of Industrial Design. Right. Thank you for having me here. First of all, I would like to thank the Embassy of Italy and Malaysia Italy Design Institute, MIDI UniKL, for inviting me for the Italian Day 2021 webinar today. I'm very honored and grateful to share my experience with the audience. I would like also to congratulate to Italy football team because they qualified for the final in Euro Cup 2021. Great. Congratulations. I'm looking forward for this Saturday, for the final game with you, with England. All right. Okay, please share my slide. Okay, my presentation entitled Sustainability, Who Cares? This is one issue that very critical nowadays in terms of sustainability. Next, please. In my content will be something about sustainability movement and principle, and I will talk about the product life cycle and design thinking. And the next will be the utilization of materials. I think this is my expert, and we'll look into the agricultural waste, underutilized natural resources, organization waste for upcycle. These are some of projects which will be presented today, and I will give a conclusion. Next, please. As you know that we are living in a material world, so material world is very, very important. It's become a lifestyle. So it's part of the achievement of wealth, of power, and of course we also look into the value of beauty, for expensive goods and property. In other sense that the material world is consist of that what we can see, hear, smell, and taste, or touch and feel physically. Next. You saw this diagram before. This is Sustainable Development Goals, or SDG, which is started in 2016. Where the leaders are talking about the sustainable goals. So if you can see, I marked some of the goals. You have 17 here. I will try to reflect my project with some of these goals that we try to achieve. So this was initiated in 2016. So I want to bring back you about the sustainable principle Okay, next please. If you see in this Islamic principle in sustainability, so I bring you back 1,442 years, yeah, where in the Quran it's already mentioned that the universe has been created by Allah, the God, with a specific purpose and for a limited time. So there will be the end of time. Okay, so what is Dr. Tan mentioned, yes, is correct. And the utilization of natural resources, or in Arabic, we call nimatullah, the gift of Allah. It's actually the gift. And it's a sacred trust invested to mankind. So we are human and we are mere manager. We have to manage the environment and not as an owner. So the environment is not belong to us, and we are only a beneficiaries and not a disposer. Yeah, this consider we have to become a moderate nation. Utilize the earth's responsibility for their benefit, honestly maintain and preserve it. Use it considerately and moderately, and pass it to the future generation in the excellent condition. That's why it's very deep. That's why the world or the environment is not just for today, but it will be for the future. This includes the appreciation of beauty, handing over in the way that relies the worship of Allah, or the God. Yeah. So I think it's very strong statement which is been talked or is mentioned 1,442 years ago. So what about us? People, we as human, we are considered ignorance. Yeah. Next, please. So we can see all this information from the Al-Quran, the concept of sustainable development in Islam, which considered as a balanced and simultaneous realization of consumer welfare, economic efficiency, attainment of social justice, ecological balance in the framework of evolutionary knowledge-based socially interactive model. So it's considered as a Suratic process. Suratic process is that we have to communicate and discuss each other so that we have a process of consultation or participatory ruling principle of Islam. That means we have to be together and discuss each other and to make the world is much more better. Next, please. This is what happened. We can see the product life cycle as mentioned by Professor Luca. Yeah, you see the level 5, the main focus which is the end of the life of the product. This is considered what I say. There's already a lot damage have been done. Yeah, so every of us have to play their role for sustainability efforts. You can see now we are busy with all this kind of concept, 3R, yeah, recycle, reuse, and promoted by authorities. Okay, so we go back one step in level 4. We see the awareness of the user, education and practice. Are we there? Who cares about it? We have to answer this because this is the question is to us. Yeah, and these are the things that always become an issue because, as I mentioned, that humans are ignorant. Not because they don't know, they just don't take very seriously. If you go back to the distribution and manufacturing, these are the worst section nowadays. They have less consideration, very profit oriented. It's always like, how do I make money? Even though the manufacturing contributed to 23%, of GDP to Malaysia, manufacturers not just to think about dollar and cent for profit, but they have to consider sustainable development, and so that our country is better than ever. So these are the things that they will give excuses that is for sustainable product is very complicated, expensive, yeah, or maybe difficult to get supply, or it was some comment that never last long, something like that. Yeah. So we can see these are the problems where the communication between the manufacturer and designer role. So now I go back to designer role, where you are the people who will be designing. You are the creators of designing the product for the consumer. So designers have yet to consider sustainability design as a critical issue. Yeah, the inclusion of sustainable element in the design process have not yet been prioritized. That means, yeah, designer is make into something like they have to have a criteria for sustainability. Actually, for designers, sustainability is already in their criteria. It's no more like to put as a criteria. It's become automatic. Yeah, this is very important. As a designer, we are the brainchild of the product to produce, and sustainable criteria should be every for creation of the product. Next, please. In creation of the product, we are very familiar with this design thinking. Yeah, design thinking maybe is a very new term that maybe the economic people, maybe people who are in the business, or maybe accountants or lawyers, they feel this is something new. For us as designer, this is more back to 200 years ago. These are the process. These are the things that we advocate every day in creating a better product. Yeah, you empathize, you define, you ideate, you create prototype, and make it, you test it so that the product is in a good hand. If you see, these are the things that as a designer should measure, and whatever they have, they do a project or they have a client, these are the basic things. Yeah, to understand the human and the environment is the mandatory, it's vital. If not, you won't come out a very good product and what the benefit to the user. Next. Okay, I would like to share some of the project that I've done. Yeah, this is sustainable strategy for sago waste. Okay, sago is a product which is in local, especially in Sarawak. Yeah, they as a staple food. Yeah, so that they make cakes from it. Yeah, it's part of the starch. Normally in Europe, you are using cornstarch to make cakes. Yeah, so maybe in Asia, sago is a staple food. Yeah, and as a food production. Next, if you have never experienced to see the plants or the palms, this is look like. Yeah, so these are the process where the sago palm tree is being harvesting and transported. Yeah, the sago is actually in the trunk. It's not like a fruit. Yeah, the sago is in the trunk, so it's transported to the storage in the river. Yeah, and it will be shredded by the machine, and the trunk peel. Yeah, the trunk peel the machine so that you get you have to take the inner part of the trunk. If you can see, if you click, can you click at the machine? Probably you can see how it works. Can it? Okay, I think it's not working. Next, please. Yeah. You can see how this thing works, so that it has to peel, so that the sago is inside the trunk. Yeah. Okay. Next. What happened? All right. So that is the process. Yeah. Where you can see there's a lot of what you call waste from the agricultural waste in terms of the products. Yeah. Okay, you can see the waste here. It's very bad. Yes, and the how to say, the factory, they don't have any idea how to solve this problem, and what they do is they just use about 10% of it only for burning, for the process of the sago, to dry the sago. Yeah, and you can see when they do the burning, come out a lot of smoke. Yeah, and also the process, they produce wastewater. Yeah, and the wastewater, you have particles. It make the river very shallow. Once it's shallow, that means there'll be no fish, even though it's even though it's organic. They consider that it's something organic, the fish will eat, but no, the fish never eat these particles in the river. So we have the abundance of sago and not fully utilized. So as a designer and also a researcher, what we did is how we want to solve this problem. Next, please. Okay, these are the strategy that we look into the sago industry. So we see what are the ways that we can use it. Yeah, from the shredded, strip bark, particles, treatments. Yeah, we can come up with wall tiles, souvenirs item, furniture, house, flooring, acoustic panel, natural dyes, and more done. Yeah. Okay, next please. We can see some of the pictures, images to show this product. So this is which I developed. It become as a wood parquet for flooring, for industrial, and also we can use as furniture design. Even though you have a very limited, as a creative, as a designer, you have to use the limitation in creating the design. And also we use the particle of that. You see the waste. Just now we come up with some absorber panel, and it become as an insulation for the some absorber panel, so that it get what you call as soundproof, or maybe in the recording room. Yes, you have a better sound absorber. Next, we also look into something which is very what you call famous in Malaysia, which is the batik. And batik have a very what you call unfriendly material that being used, which using the paraffin wax. Yeah, paraffin wax. So it has very toxic. So we are changing or replacing the paraffin wax into from sago starch and sago waste, and we created this what you call as a wax for batik. So it's an organic wax for batik. So it becomes a very cool wax. You don't have to heat the wax to make it what you call to draw on the fabrics. Next, please. Okay. this another the use of that from the waste of sago. We create a paste we call as a bioresist paste that we use for printing. Yeah, on the 6 screen. So normally batik we have problems on productions. Is very tedious of drawing to create one batik sarong of 4 meters. It takes about 2 or 3 days. For this process, you can just use probably you can produce 10 or 20 using 6 screen technique. Next, please. If you can see, we also try to, when we use a new material, yeah, when we use a new material, we can mechanize the printing, yeah, using this particular starch, yeah, as the printing die. You can click to the machine. So which I mentioned before, to produce a batik, it takes 3 or 4 days. For this particular process, it just takes about 3 to 5 seconds. You have about 20 foot printing of batik fabrics. Okay. Next, please. Okay, another project we have here is a bamboo. So bamboo is the future sustainable material. Okay. So this project I call it as bulo, or in the Malay words of bamboo, and with acronyms, yeah. And the meaning of that is bamboo for life and urban homestyle. Okay. So this something that we can see that bamboo is as an alternative material, which is cost effective and contribute to the ecology development. So what we do is we try to come up with the product and through helping the communities. Yeah. Next, please. So of course, which I mentioned to you that we look into empathize. Yeah. So we study the people or the communities that they have their products. So they are producing, like this one example, they are producing this called as bamboo soap. Yeah, bamboo soap. They use the components or parts of the bamboo to come up with the soap. So they have very mediocre packaging, and probably is not very interesting. So what we do is we try to develop this particular, and what we see their facilities, yeah, very small, so we have to adapt their facilities. Next, please. Okay, all right, so you have this some development of design. Yeah, next. Okay, so these are packaging which still using the bamboo material. All right, next. So out of that also we come up with a furniture design. Yeah, we look at what can we do in the futures. Yeah, so it is a what you call high-end products. Yeah, we use veneers and more high-tech method to produce the furniture. Next. Okay. Okay, these are the products which exhibited in the furniture fair in Kuala Lumpur. Next. And of course, we also be highlighted in the local magazine, yeah, newspaper. Next. Okay, next. And we also win the competition, and I think Monolobosi is there. Mr. Monolobosi is one of the judges, and he was speakers last year. All right, next. Okay, another one is we see the project of TICA. This is Transformation of Innovation, Conservation and Appreciation of Design, which we look in for how to help the communities. They have the local material. Next, please. Okay, these the communities, they have the raw material, but they have problems of producing because of limited product application. So they have their current jobs just like making cakes and look after grandchild, but they are the master plater. So how we help them is through design. Okay, next please. Another problem is that they have no generation. The young generation don't want to learn about this particular projects or particular arts. Yeah, so we try to teach them together with the master platters. So this is what we try to combine the old generation and the young generation together to understand this. Next, please. All right, so these are the one we do a workshop, train them and how to do and to come up with the maps. For us as a designer, we will think about what a product that can be sold in the market. So next, out of that, you can see this product, this furniture. We are using the local material to create the furniture, and some of the design has won some competition in the international. Next, please. So we also have the exhibition, yeah, in KLCC, so that it will be more exposed on the products to the public. Next. These are some of the features in the magazine or newspaper. Next. And next, please. Another last project that I'm trying, this is the latest one. I'll show you the video. Yeah. Please play the video, see if you can play. So this project is actually with the mass. We see as sustainable upcycle products. Yeah, these are the things that they have material or waste material of their uniforms. Yeah, everything that already in the because they have to return back to the organization if they retired or they leave the company. So they have a lot of waste. Now they have to manage, and now like this company, this airline company, they are creating a new what you call as a sustainable program for the company. So they look into alternative products. So this product will be in the what you call marketplace, where they'll sell in the in-flight boutiques. This is something where you will see this product in the market later on. Okay, to conclude this, yeah, these are some activities. Yeah, so it was launched that with the YBKJ, the Science and Technology Minister. Next. Okay, so who cares? So very strong, important thing, sustainable is our responsibility. Yeah, it's very, so that we as a human, we always ignorant. So let's learn and we create awareness as a designer. We understand it and practice. Of course, we have to take care of our environment. Thank you very much. Sorry for taking the long time for this presentation. Thank you.
Terima kasih, Professor Teknologi Dr. Khairul. We shall now open for the question and answer session. You may use the chat platform in MS Teams and also Facebook Live to ask any questions to all our speakers regarding presentations. Could the guest speakers please turn on the camera and the microphone for the Q&A session? We will have the speakers to answer 3 questions, while other questions have been answered on the Facebook live chat. We shall start from the first question coming from Facebook Live to Professor Silvia. So Professor Silvia, do you have any idea how to make sustainable products compete in terms of product price?
Okay, so thank you so much for your interesting question. I hope you are still here following the whole webinar and event. I will say that among sustainable products, the price subject is still quite tricky and challenging. Eco-design and eco-products are quite expensive because they are long-lasting, they are based on fair and ethical processes of production, and mostly based on certificates and lots of bureaucracy. As we designers and producers, we know that, but not all the users do so. So in order to compete, I will say that designers have to base the products and or services, of course, on a strong basis of values. Then the product and the service must be able to explain itself, to show its own values and potentials. As I previously quoted, in the last years, the Gen Z is starting to be willing to pay more for those products instead of the millennials. The previous generation, let's say, is less willing to pay more for responsible, sustainable products. And that's because as designers, through our design and products and services and events, have also the aim and the goal to communicate, to share, to educate, to nudge, guide people, and so the final users and the customers towards those new values that are necessary to face the climate change and environmental crisis. I will say that it's a call to action that involves all the actors and stakeholders, not only industries and companies, but also, most importantly, single designers as single person and creative and non-creative individuals, as well final users and customers. So when you want to design and launch a sustainable product, you must think in a systemic way by including also the related communication and the impact that that product or service may imply in anyone's life.
Okay, thank you, Professor Silvia. We have another question for you, actually, from Asharia Badaruddin. Professor Silvia, we are still relying so much on plastic. How do we shift?
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, this question really touched my heart. And I will say that everyone should start with little stuff of their own daily routine. I truly believe in the power of small daily actions and changes. I mean, you have to think about yourself as a persona and not as a designer. And you have to start to read the labels of the products, to explore and to get a better understanding about the process behind each product or service or experience, how that product has been produced and bring to you. And another fundamental thought is about accepting yourself first. I mean, we are human and we are not perfect. So when we start to change our life toward a more sustainable life, you must first of all accept yourself, accept the things that you have at disposal, and you must not think about extremism, but you have to really be proud and glad of what you have now, who you are now, and focus only on what you can do next with the things that you have at your disposal, and again, how you can put impacts by using little things, by changing little things, starting from your own daily life, and then bring, of course, these values within your creative processes. I hope that I'm able to share these valuable thoughts and I will say specific attitude that is starting inside and goes outside your own persona.
Okay, thank you for the answer. And the last question is from Mr. Effendi Lehan. The question is, it was a very interesting presentation by our distinguished speakers. I am very interested with one of the speakers addressing issues such as depression, anxiety, and mental health that can seriously affect our living space environment. What should we do? What should we be focusing more in our feature design? Thank you. And by the way, this question is open to all the speakers.
Can you repeat the question again?
Okay, the question was, it was very interesting presentation by our distinguished speakers. I am very interested with one of the speakers addressing issues such as depression, anxiety, and mental health that can seriously affect our living space environment. What should we be focusing more in our feature design?
Perhaps I can address it. I was recently approached by a committee that's putting together the new design standards post-COVID for Malaysia. And I was asked to comment from the green building side. So I'll just go through very quickly. Better indoor quality with more fresh air changes. Lobbies, lift lobbies, stairs, public toilets, if they can be naturally ventilated. A lot more integration of indoor and outdoor spaces. Improve efficiency of the air conditioning system with more air changes. Limit meetings in confined rooms to less than 45 minutes. I think I grew up working in Australia. Any meeting that's longer than 30 minutes is a waste of time. I think we are going back to that. And set room size limits to accommodate distancing. Enhance facilities for online and virtual meetings. That means we've got to really upgrade our facilities and our technology. As we can tell, even from this this link up, it's quite taxing. Screening and sterilizing rooms. Larger managed centralized delivery rooms. That means when there'll be a lot more of shared areas and there'll be a lot more of delivery, online deliveries and so on. And I think for living spaces, especially like 2 or 3 families in a small apartment, which we are already finding a lot more, where they are stuck in the house with their in-laws and outlaws, and they're like 3 families in one small apartment. You can literally go crazy. So we think that the whole issue of a whole community or whole village in one building becomes important, where you can go outside and there's an element of art, there's an element of openness and green areas, and integrating a lot more open space into the homes. Yeah. Anyway, that will be coming out soon in the government guideline, but that's from the Malaysian perspective. Maybe we can hear from the Italian side. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you again, Dr. Tan. Thank you for all the questions. And thank you once again to our honorable speakers. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, now let us sit back and enjoy a montage on UNIKL MIDI students' diary that we will be showcasing. Earlier this year, some of the students have taken part in Fragility to Protect, a student's diary, a project showcased by Kulturit, a network of academic associations of students of several Italian universities, among which the renowned Bocconi University. This series of talks were held in conjunction with Fragilità, an exhibition that explores the experience of fragility through an immersive and profound perception of the work of Italian and Malaysian artists. Let's take a look at the montage. Congratulazioni a tutti gli studenti. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, moving on, let's watch the video preview on Salone del Mobile di Milano, Milan's famous furniture fair. Ladies and gentlemen, signore e signori, to commemorate this session today, once again, I would like to invite our VIPs, His Excellency Cristiano Majipinto, Dato Dr. Rozia Omar, honorable speakers, Engineer Dr. Azman Senin for a photo opportunity. Over to Mr. Ashraf. Excellency Cristiano Majipinto, Ambassador of Italy to Malaysia, Dato Dr. Rozia Omar, President, Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, honorable speakers, partners, and all esteemed guests for joining us today. Till we meet again next year, ci vediamo di nuovo l'anno prossimo. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Don't forget, stay safe, stay home, stay strong together.
Bye bye. Good Italian.